So students, now next landform, desert. What is a desert? You know Rajasthan, Gujarat places, most of the areas in Rajasthan, you know they are very dry land. So a large area of very dry land without vegetation. What is vegetation? Plants, trees, means in those areas plants and trees are not grown much and the area is very dry. So see here I have drawn sand. All of you know sand. Most of you have been visited Rajasthan. So the dry area and like this sand is there. Only some of the vegetation is grown and without vegetation this land is there. So a very large area with a very dry land and without vegetation is called desert.
Now next, desert. See, a large area of dry land without vegetation. Can you see any vegetation? No. See, here is vegetation, but here is no vegetation. So this is desert, and here desert receives very little rainfall. Okay.
Now next, hills. Now I have told you mountains. Mountains are very large, very big and with pointed peak. But hills are, these are not as tall as mountains. Highlands which are not as tall as mountains are called hills.
Now next, hills. See students, here this is also highland. This is plain, this is highland, but they are not as tall as mountains. Can you see? These are so tall, they are small. So highlands that are not as tall as mountains are known as hills.
Then valley. What is a valley? This is a mountain, suppose, for example, and this is a hill. So the low-lying area between the mountains and the hills is called a valley. Can you see? Mountains, hills. These are the mountains and this is hills. And the area between this, from here many times water flows, these low-lying areas between hills and mountains is valley.
Then valleys. What are valleys? I told you, the areas between hills and mountains. So see, these are the hills, and between these hills and these mountains, this area is called valley. Okay, understood all of you?
Now last point, that is the island. Now in many movies, I can say movies you are seeing, I know. So in many movies we are seeing islands. So what is an island? A piece of land surrounded by water on all sides. Suppose this is a land, okay, and all sides water is there, and in between only her land is there. Many people build their houses on island and go for holidays. So a piece of land surrounded by water on all sides is called island. Understood? Desert is what? Large area with dry land and without vegetation. Large area, dry land full of sand, example Rajasthan, and without vegetation. Then hills, they are also like mountains, means highlands, but not as tall as mountains, smaller than mountains. Between hills and mountains area is valley, and island is what? Piece of land surrounded by water on all sides. Understood?
Now next is last, what? Island. A piece of land surrounded by water on all sides is known as an island. So see, this is a piece of land and all sides, can you see water? So all sides water and in between land. So piece of land surrounded by water on all sides is known as island. So with this diagram you can easily understand all the landforms of the earth. And one more thing, these words to know, these blue words are written here, means its meanings are given. What is the peak? Top of the mountain. What is steep? A slope that rises and falls sharply. And vegetation means plants and trees. So here we complete the different landforms of the earth. Hope you all have understood it. Okay, thank you, good day, take care.